your prevention team here in El Paso. You have Marissa and
Annabelle.
Hey everybody, it's Thanksgiving week, so we are stoked about that. So we're going to be talking about, the holiday season that is coming about, but there's a bigger part to it that's more important than the goodness of turkey and the amazing sides that come with the holiday meal. We're going to be talking about boundaries and the holidays and why that's important. So, while we're doing that, what activity are we going to be doing, Annabelle?
So we're going to be tie-dyeing a shirt. So we got this shirt from Planned Parenthood. I think it was during...
it was during Pride in
Fest.
June, so it's been a good minute that we've had these. So we're really stoked. We've been wanting to tie-dye them for the longest time. So,
It says, fans off our bodies.
I love that Annabelle's has like a 90s theme, but I like mine that's like just like the block,
Oh,
We have different ones. So we're going to go ahead and we'll tie-dye these. We're going to use different methods of tie-dyeing. I'm not sure what Annabelle's going to do, but I've been wanting to try the ice cube method. So, we got our bowl of ice here. We got our water to fill up our little containers. And then our rubber bands and tie-dye. So, we'll go ahead and get started.
So we're talking about boundaries. So first off, what are boundaries? For those that may not know, or...
Well, yeah, who doesn't know what a boundary is, right?
Yeah.
So boundaries, for those of us who do not know, and I'm sorry if I come in and out of the frame, but I think I'm going to try your thing. But I'm going to do like the side spiral real quick, and then I'm going to like put it, because I don't know how to but I don't think I'm going to use rubber bands. Side note, okay, so boundaries are these limitations, as we like to call, that a person can put up for themselves with other people or even with themselves, right? So it's like, let's say that in a relationship, my boundary is that once somebody is unfaithful, then there's no second chance. Okay, so that would be a boundary.
Yeah.
Another boundary could be with family, right? Maybe avoiding certain topics during the holiday season, and like
politics
and religion. I mean, right now with what's going on globally, there's a lot of conflict going on. So things like that, So that's what a boundary is. It's pretty much just a limitation that we put on for ourselves and with other people. And boundaries can look different for everybody. They don't have to look exactly the same for, let's say, like a boundary that you have with your mom can be different than a boundary you have with your significant other or the rest of your family, right? So you just tailor it to however you feel that you need to do for that relationship with you and that person, or for yourself also, right? Because sanity, mental health, emotional health are very vital and important to acknowledge, not just in everyday life, but especially during the holiday season, because that could be draining.
Yeah. Emotionally.
Oh yeah, definitely.
And financially.
Yeah, which is why they're important, right? Because you can even put up boundaries for financial.
On how much you want to spend.
Yeah. How much you want to spend on a gift, who you're going to get a gift for, things like that. So, especially with the holiday season, right? We don't have to use our whole paycheck on Christmas gifts or holiday gifts. But how can I set boundaries if I have a hard time saying no?
I think that's a good question, actually. I think first off, it's like acknowledging that it is okay to set boundaries. Sometimes people grow up in an environment where they never were able to set a boundary, or it was rude for them to set a boundary. But I think it's just acknowledging and knowing that it is okay to set boundaries is kind of like that first step, especially if you're afraid to say no. But also, like, when you are setting boundaries, I think it's also important to make sure that you're respectful as well, and being clear as to what you're placing a boundary on. Sometimes things can be, like, miscommunicated or interpreted. So I think being clear and respectful is, like, pretty important when you're setting that boundary.
Very true. Very, very, very true.
And I think it's just not forgetting yourself, like going back to the knowing that it's okay to say no, and knowing it's okay to set boundaries, and just making sure you put yourself first before you kind of put everyone else before yourself.
Yeah, very true, right? It's important to define your boundaries and what they are. So defining your boundaries would be like we've been saying, establishing what it is that you're gonna establish a boundary for, right? So like if there's certain topics that you're not gonna talk about, or certain questions that you don't want to be asked, right? Like I know, oftentimes, especially during the holiday season, I'll see on like my TikTok following or my Instagram following, all these little memes and videos or like reels on "Ila novio, ila novia," like when your family's asking you or you're saying to get others, or like what's going on with like your dating life.
Yeah.
So that could be another boundary, like.
Or even if you are in a relationship, they're like, so when are you getting married?
Oh,
when are you
when you're having kids.
Like, you don't know. You don't understand.
Exactly. So those are boundaries, right? It's important to be clear and respectful. Yeah. So also consider like what helps you recharge after an emotional or heated conversation, right? Or event that happens. So what would be a good method of recharging for you?
For me? For me, recharging, I usually just isolate myself from like people. So I usually just kind of like take that time for myself. And it's just myself, just to kind of recharge, not really being able to like talk about anything or just, I don't know, just being by myself, being silent.
Yeah, that's a good one. Doing something that you like, right?
Yeah.
We've been doing a bunch of different hobbies in our videos. So if pottery is your thing, if tie-dyeing is your thing, painting, even reading, right? Or even grabbing a cup of coffee, it doesn't have to be an actual hobby that you're exerting energy and force for.
Watching
it could
a
just be
show.
Yeah, or like getting your nails done, that's mine.
Yeah.
Treating yourself, that's another one.
Yeah.
Indulging in the sweets of the holiday season too. So you need to be able to acknowledge what helps you recharge after a heated argument. So always have that game plan ready. But also ask yourself, am I saying yes because I want to? Or am I saying yes because I feel like I have to?
Yeah.
Oftentimes I know that like for myself, I have a hard time saying no sometimes. And I'm a people pleaser. So that too, like understanding what is my boundary with myself? Do I want to say yes because I actually want to do this activity or whatever, have this conversation? Or do I feel the need to like keep these other people satisfied and put their happiness over mine? So that's like a whole nother one.
Yeah.
But also acknowledging, okay, do I need time to myself right now? And how often? When and where? And how is that going to look? If the conversations do get heated, right, because sometimes they do, and that's totally understandable. We're not able to predict what will happen, nor can we control the actions of other people. So understanding, okay, do I need to excuse myself from this conversation? Like we stated, your emotional safety is really what's important and matters. So when you're speaking to someone with different opinions, it can oftentimes be difficult. Some ways to disengage from that conversation or that space is by agreeing to disagree. Okay, that's a big one. Even just establishing your boundary and being like, sorry, this is something that like I don't feel comfortable talking about. You can ask to change the topic, or you can change the topic yourself, Be assertive. Always be assertive, okay? So you want to be respectful because to give respect, you need to get respect. I mean, to get respect, you need to give respect. So you need to be assertive, state the topic and the conversation that you're having, and that you will not continue to talk about this for whatever reason, right? And if people say why, you don't owe them a why. Your no is enough. And if you need to physically walk away, by excusing yourself from the table, from the conversation, from that space. Set consequences for your boundaries. That's another one. If somebody breaks my boundary, what is that going to look like?
Yeah. And if we continue talking about this, I already let you know ahead of time that this is a sensitive topic for me. I'm not going to take it, and I can leave, So, and I think that's important, too, because I think sometimes people don't take others seriously, especially when it's someone that is not used to putting boundaries, and they kind of think like, oh well, they're not gonna do anything, kind of thing. But I think it's important to really stand your ground and not let their opinions or not let anything not let it steer you away, I guess, from standing your ground and from setting those boundaries, especially if they aren't really important to you. I think it's not fair if, there's something that, there's a boundary that you're trying to set and other people are not letting you set that boundary,
Very true. Now, you have to understand, though, as well, what will happen if my boundary is disrespected? So having that conversation with yourself, too. Is this going to be excusable type of behavior? Do I need to have another conversation with this individual? Do I need to give myself some time and space away from this entity that's causing me to be emotionally stressed and charged? If that's happening, what will happen by restating your boundary again? Saying it one more time. This is what my boundary is. I'm putting my foot down for this conversation. Or the way that I'm feeling. You have to speak up for yourself. You're your number one advocate, as we say. And then following through on that consequence. Whatever you state, whatever that consequence will be for the impact of your boundary not being respected, follow through on that and put your foot down. And then limit engagement if you aren't respected. You don't have to stay in a space that doesn't make you feel emotionally, physically, or mentally safe.
Yeah.
Or sane. It's really important to understand that. You don't have to stay, regardless of family. I know that oftentimes, even in our own culture, Sanibel and I are Hispanic identifying individuals. Well, Latino has Hispanic. And oftentimes it is hard for, establishing boundary with family members, but also having that respected.
Yeah.
And, acknowledging that just because we're family doesn't mean that I have to agree with what you're saying. Nor does that automatically mean that you deserve my respect.
Yeah.
You're still a human being, regardless of your age. You deserve to be respected, to feel safe, to feel validated, to feel like your opinions and your voice matter. Even especially because I know that we sometimes have youth who are watching our videos. So thank you so much for doing that. But even at your young age, you're still valid. You're a human being. And your voice matters. If your boundary is, okay, I don't want to give hugs this holiday season.
Yeah.
We always talk about consent and boundaries together. So consent, of course, is permission. If you don't feel like giving hugs, you just want to wave to everybody at the table, you're allowed to do that. If your mom or father or parental guardian entity gives you a look like, no, you better go greet everybody formally, you don't have to do that. It's your own personal space. And I know oftentimes when I was a kid, that was something that I was like, oh man, gotta go to everybody, give them a hug, get that kiss on the cheek type thing. And I understand sometimes it's weird and you don't know Tia Consuela, who you haven't seen in 5 years,
Or since you were 6 months old, and you're like, you don't remember me?
And you're like,
I was
no.
6 months old.
Exactly.
I don't know who you are.
So even things like that, you're allowed to not have to put yourself in that space. So just remember your voice matters. This holiday season can be rough, but it's also a time of being grateful for yourself and thankful for yourself. You make it through whatever it is that life throws to you that year.
Yeah.
And just making it from the beginning of the year to that moment in time. That's a great thing. Everything that we learned throughout the year. So be gentle. So there's enough ugliness in the world, and I just think we need to be nicer to ourselves. And I know it's hard. It's often hard to do that. But I mean, you have anything else to say about?
I feel like that was pretty much it. The important thing is really just to know that it's okay to set boundaries, Even in the Thanksgiving, realizing that it's not everyone's Thanksgiving, right? It's your Thanksgiving. You can have control over what you want your Thanksgiving to be and how you want to spend Thanksgiving, who you want to spend Thanksgiving with, how long, right? All those things, you can set that yourself,
Very true. You are in control of that. Alright, so Annabelle, what's your favorite Thanksgiving side? Now we're just gonna jabber and talk.
I love cranberry sauce.
Really? You're the second person to tell me that.
Really?
Yeah.
No, I love cranberry sauce. I can't. I cannot have a Thanksgiving dinner without the cranberry sauce. I'm literally the one that always takes the cranberry sauce because if no one's gonna take it, I will. You know.
You're like, it's that serious.
Yeah, it's that serious. Yeah, no, I love cranberry sauce. What else? I also like cream corn. Cream corn is pretty good. What about you?
Mashed potatoes. I love a good potato. Honestly, like, I just love potatoes. I'm
You could do a lot with potatoes.
I'm like a tater tot junkie. I just love mashed potatoes, French fries,
baked potatoes.
Very true.
Alright everyone, we will catch you later. We're gonna let this sit for a little bit and let it melt. See how it comes out. And we'll let you know how it looks once it's done. But yeah, stay tuned for our next video. Follow us on Instagram. Let us know what your favorite dish is.
Please comment down below, like, subscribe, share this video, comment. We want to know what your favorite Thanksgiving holiday side is. And also, if you have any ideas or tips and tricks as to how to tie-dye.
Yeah.
Because I love tie-dye, but I'm not the best at it. But yeah, like Annabelle said, we'll catch you guys later.